get started with the news. So I'm just gonna go over some pre-market setups here. I'm also pulling up my scanner and gonna see if there's anything here in pre-market worth taking a look at. I did think about buying UDXY shares, but I think it's not smart to do after a gap down. Wait for that retest. What is going on over here? Oh, there's a Peppa Pig channel on my TV. Alright, here we go. Nope, get that out of here. Oh, God. Alright. That was terrifying. Alright, let's see. Here. What do we got moving here in pre-market? So it looks like movers right now are RDS. Oh, did my mouse disappear again? It sure did. There it is. It's back. Yeah, that one doesn't look like it's done or moving quite much anymore. But that one is a mover here in pre-market. CCNC. That one's not moving too much here. GDR. No, it's nothing really moving here in pre-market. Not seeing too much. QCOM. Goldman Sachs upgrades QCOM to neutral, increases price target, signifies 6% upside. Nothing crazy there. Let's go ahead and just start off with Apple. What's Apple doing in pre-market? Alright, so tried to go and retest 146 in pre-market this morning. Quickly rejected. So the 15-minute here. Okay, so what do we see already? This look like a little bit cyclical in the way that Apple likes to go retest previous break drop down levels. So it looks like it's starting a pattern here. So you can see the retest there. If you set a level here, also see a retest there as well, that level. So pre-market retest there. Interesting. Let's go look at the hourly. Where are we at? We're at the 200-day EMA, and that's probably why we got such a substantial bounce. And I think I talked about last night the likelihood of a bounce today. So far, one of the top headlines that I'm seeing across everywhere is the new Delta variant. And it seems like that is, whether we like it or not, is starting to kind of impact pre-market. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and in 5 minutes we're gonna go ahead and get started with the news. Pre-market pre. There we go. Thoughts on SQQQ? Good question. Let's go take a look at it. So, the inverse to our infamous Qs looks like it has broke out of, and we could say that this is the next imminent level here, but it does appear, and I am correct in this notion, I believe, that we are above $9, heading for the target with an EMA crossover on the hourly here in pre-market to likely go retest 930. Now see obvious inverse, but the hourly showing a complete pre-market engulfment, which is showing me that we are likely going to see downside here on the Qs, unless we can see some type of miraculous recovery here in pre-market. But a lot of pre-market action taking out a lot of that bounce play that I talked about. I don't know if you guys remember. We had a conversation last night while we were prepping about the likelihood of a bounce, and it seems like all of the levels that I marked out. Now I'm curious if stocks will follow in suit, and the Qs and SPY will sit flat, right, and then reject. So you'll have the stocks go and make their pre-market pump, right, hit those levels, and then reject, and then kind of pull back. What have you missed? Momo, is he on? You have not missed anything. Good morning, Vinny. What's up, Paul? Snee. Sushi. So looking. Good morning. 354.58. Obviously, this is pre-market movement. So we can take it into account or just continue to watch our levels. A level above us right now in the Qs is 356 on the dot. That is a major support here. And then above us, directly above us, is the 354.50 level. So in between that range, and you can see that what would be like almost 50% of that, right at 355.30, is the 50-day EMA. So gonna need to see a rebound here in order to have any hope. But as far as SQQ is concerned, it does appear to be maintaining a relatively bullish setup here, but we'll see how we move in pre-market. I think it's probably worth setting alert at 920. That is a smaller macro level there, and then 928. I guess it's that top level there as well. Honestly, as long as the Qs continue to pull back, there is the potential, you guys have heard me say before, on the Qs, to make that inverted cup and handle. We're a little bit past that handle mark, and where I suspected we could have a bounce, we have failed. So we failed here in pre-market to see that bounce recover. Major short put in here. So in my opinion, our only hope is a retest around 356, which would likely be a downtrend, the start of a new downtrend. So excuse me. So let's see here. Yeah, we 358.50, 352.65. Interesting. Hello from Paris. What's up? All garbage. Well, welcome to the dump. All right. Now, what is this? This is pre-market prep. Bitcoin's dumping now. Makes sense. Goodbye, my lover. Oh, it's goodbye. Yep. 30.2. Yeah, I'll look at AER, and then we're going to go ahead and get started with pre-market news. So, looks like here in pre-market, this one showing quite a bit of strength, bouncing off of that consolidation bottom here, right there at that 325 level. Big pullback, big bounce, showing a lot of strength here, but is starting to see these shorts accumulate here pre-market, starting at that 475 level. Looks like you have a small trend line here, and I'm not potential that you uphold that. And there's all these crazy wicks here, but just seeing the angle of these right here and the way that these bodies look, there is it could extend itself, but I'd be watching for a bounce right in this level. If not, then this thing is likely breaking to the downside out of this, or just simply double topping. So watch for a bounce here at these levels. I would suspect that a reclamation of 460 and a bounce up to that 480 level would be a decent setup here to the upside. So PFMT, eh? That's not impressive. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with our news and all. Yeah, of course, Phil, not a problem. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get started going over the news for this morning. Right off the bat, the virus. It's probably one of the most important things that we're going to talk about this morning. Unfortunately, it is surging. U.S. infections, and I'm just reading the facts, or not even. I'm just reading these headlines here with no opinion, but these are things that are, regardless of our opinions, are still going to affect the market. So U.S. infections have surged more than 60% last week, topping a 16% global increase. Within that, cases of the Delta variant may be undercounted. Former FDA Chief Scott Gottlieb said. In other COVID news, an LA official defended its indoor mask order, saying it's not a punishment for the vaccinated. Facebook pushed back after Joe Biden said social media networks were killing people by allowing the spread of misinformation about the shots. Tennis, it's kind of unrelated, but tennis star Coco Gauff tested positive, ruling out her Tokyo Olympics. A gymnast from USA was also found to be infected at her pre-Olympic training camp. So, guys, these are things that obviously, they're directly going to be impacting the market. And U.S. stock index futures slipped as the nationwide spike in COVID-19 cases renewed concerns regarding an economic recovery ahead of the start of big tech earnings this week. European shares fell. Travel stocks hit lows on worries that the fast-spreading Delta variant could hamper travel demand. Japanese shares ended lower for the fourth straight session as sentiment was hit by worries about the Tokyo 2020 Olympics could worsen the health crisis. Gold prices slipped as investors sought comfort in the U.S. dollar amid coronavirus cases. Oil prices fell sharply after OPEC and overcame internal divisions and agreed to boost output. As some of the only good news was oil in that regard. So, some top headlines as far as company deals and stuff like that could be catalyst. Right now, Zoom to buy cloud-based call center operator Five9. It is a $15 billion deal. Zoom announced a $14.7 billion all-stock deal to buy the cloud computing call center, which probably is a stock that I'm pretty sure I've seen Five9. It probably gapped up insanely. And the largest ever acquisition as competition intensifies in its core video conferencing sector. So let's see here. Johnson & Johnson exploring talc liabilities into bankruptcy. Johnson & Johnson is exploring a plan to offload liabilities for widespread baby powder litigation into a newly created businesses that would seek bankruptcy protection, according to 7 people familiar with the matter. Good morning, those of you just joining. Alright. So one of the I've seen this circulating over the last couple of days. But U.S. allies have accused China of global cyber attacking or hacking campaign. The U.S. and a coalition of allies will accuse. It's so funny they plan to accuse them. Like in this day, we will accuse you of these crimes, but will accuse China's Ministry of State Security of a global cyber hacking campaign that will specifically attribute a large Microsoft attack it disclosed earlier this year by hackers working on Beijing's behalf. A senior administration official said so. Tensions rising there does not add to the positive or the potential positivity that could be coming with earnings. So, of course, you can know that Robinhood is nearing its IPO, and we'll be watching that one closely as it does. I thought it was quite entertaining that the CEOs decided to forfeit so kindly and just so generously forfeit their salaries because now they have stock in Robinhood. So they don't need a salary anymore. They're rich, soon to be very rich. So um, Tesla has some news here. The electric automaker said on Saturday it's introduced an option for customers to subscribe to its advanced driver assistance program dubbed full self-driving capability for $199 per month, $200 per month, instead of paying $10,000 up front. Tesla has previously said its subscription service would generate reoccurring revenue and expand the customer base for pricey features including lane changing on highways and parking assistance. But the U.S. electric car maker reiterates on Saturday that the current features do not make the vehicle autonomous, adding that they require a fully attentive driver who has their hands on the wheel. FSD capability subscriptions are currently available for eligible vehicles in the United States. That sounded like the person who reads that fast text at the end of the commercials. Okay, excuse me. Let's see here. So as far as top headlines, of course, you know, Alphabet, Adobe, Microsoft, Twitter, always in court, still in court. They are expressed disappointment by some these U.S. tech companies are expressing disappointment by ruling with a ruling by federal judge that blocked new applications to program that protects immigrants that were brought to the United States as children for deportation, which is kind of odd because it's obviously the reverse of what we would have expected. Right now, here in pre-market, let me before we go any further, let us go and recap or take a look at the oncoming earnings that we have ahead of us because I think that this is something very critical. Remember, because as soon as that bear sentiment takes over, a bounce could happen. And of course, we saw bad news, resilient market before here, where bad news circulated and SPY continued to melt to the upside. So, going over earnings today, relatively quiet. We do have some relatively larger name or bigger names: Tractor Supply, Steel Dynamics, IBM. Those are some of the top ones here that are reporting here. I think Tractor Supply has already reported here before the bell. I don't really play them. I have before they screwed up. So let's see here. I don't even want to look at that company. But Tuesday, Netflix, CMG, United Airlines, Halliburton, ISRG, all big companies that I've traded before. Verizon on Wednesday, Johnson Johnson, Coca-Cola, Kinder Morgan, Las Vegas Sands, Harley Davidson are some of the top ones that stand out to me coming Wednesday. Thursday we have Snap, Domino, Twitter, INTC, American Airlines, AT&T, Southwest. I'm sorry guys, but there's so much. Cleveland Cliffs, Freeport, BIIB, Socket Mobile. Just a slurry of. Friday's relatively quiet. We have American Express and Schlumberger, but other than that, the week following is where things start to pick up even more. Where we have Tesla, Lockheed Martin, and these are some stocks that we could anticipate the next week's run. Like so, this week if there is a bounce, we might see more momentum leading towards these stocks that have at least a little bit more time. Because, and I went over this last night, I literally showed on the chart where Apple has ran flat into earnings or barely ran into earnings 3 days before and then just dies. And I do believe that this earnings season, if it is not impressive, that this will be the catalyst for a correction. So, but anyway, Monday, Tuesday, of course, Visa, AMD, Apple, Starbucks, Microsoft, Google, General Electric, Google again. I'm just kidding. Both Class A and Class B, C shares. QuantumScape, TDoc, Interphase, guys. 3M, Waste Management, UPS. It goes on and on and on. So we have huge earnings coming up here, guys. I mean, Facebook, Boeing. I don't want to keep going because I know I'm just blabbering right now, but you guys see it for yourself. These could be stocks that we see movement in, or we start to trade extremely choppy because we have this Delta variant and we've just hit new lows. So there is a multitude of different possibilities here. There is a gap on SPY right now to 431.25 on the 5-minute time frame. So a relief bounce is possible. And with earnings included, I think that we're going to have to watch price action and get an idea of whether investors are looking to take this market back up to the upside and shake off the Delta virus rumors, or if we will continue to pull back here to new lows. But with that here, I want to go over real quick. Good morning, Stack Overflow. Sorry, I just saw your. Good morning, everybody. What's up? You guys can find us on YouTube. That's where we're at right now, currently. Just same name as my username. Let's see here. So I'm gonna go hit up my boy Walter. Let's see here. Where's Walt? There you are. I just wanted to see upgrades. Looks like we don't have any. July 16th. No, I don't see a price upgrade list here quite yet. Let me go see if Manny posted it yet. Nope, not quite yet. Okay, let me do one more thing. Yeah, I don't have an upgrade downgrade list quite yet. Anyway, let me leave that server. Okay, so what do I think about lower support is for Fubo? I have it around 24. I will absolutely take a look at that in just a second here. We'll take a look at Fubo. So on the top of my playlist,
It's 9 o'clock.
it is 9 o'clock. So we have NIO to the downside. Of course, a lot of the setup that I wanted to play did not end up setting up and allowing me to play it. So unfortunately here, I'm going to deal with what I got. And my target today was $40. If you guys recall what I talked about yesterday, and that target pretty much is hit. And so without taking and being greedy, I'm not playing the $40 support. If we break it cleanly, hourly candle close, I'll take it, because that means that more than likely EVs in general are going to start trending to the downside. $40 is a big support for NIO, and if it falls, it could even set this channel here, right? So we have the potential for if it hits that $40 level, it could have that reversal pattern potential set up there. So I know we went over it last night. I'm not too sure that the setup is there anymore until we see a break of $40. We're 94 cents away here in pre-market, and so right now 39.88 is a safer late entry and what would potentially be a leg down for me anyway. So I'll be watching NIO here in pre-market and at open space. Another one. So watch for space to potentially finish that gap fill, retest $30 here in pre-market, or not in pre. Well, it could happen in pre-market, but at open. And the reason why I'm even looking into this is because on even the higher time frames, we have a gap, and that gap appears to be starting at the 2340 level and ending at the 2150 level, but there's quite a bit of room in between that level and where we're at now. So I am thinking below 2750, I'd like to take a short out on space. It's been dumping, and you've seen relatively strong relief bounces, so don't be surprised if you see one here this morning. And I'm going to go ahead and start with this low here, and you can see the 20 EMA lining up with that perfectly. So if we retest pre-market or fill that gap, we will likely retest that resistance, which would give us that retest and then allow us for that rejection. So I'm going to go set an alert on that trend line. When it hits the trend line, I'll be watching for the rejection. If we get the rejection, I'll take the short and watch it at pre-market lows. Otherwise, if it just heads straight for pre-market lows, 27.45 will likely be an entry. What would be good entry levels for NIO to the downside? Is that what you're asking, BT? So for me anyway, and the funny thing is I didn't see this before, but I see it now. 3850. There's a very very small gap right here on the hourly time frame. So I would say a good entry. Honestly, possibly the break of 40. Obviously, that break is going to give you, and if it breaks, it has very little room to hold itself up. You have basically 39.75 until that gap starts to get filled, but 38.50, I guarantee you will see a bounce at that level. So if you're scalping with weeklies, that's where I would likely be out. I would not hang on too tight unless you're out long and you have a weekly contracts underneath that you're scalping that way to protect both positions. And again, what you could even use pivot points if you wanted. So right now we're at S2, and would you look at that? So look at that. The gap gets filled right here, and just a few points is S3. So 37.73. Sometimes when I don't have my levels marked, I'll whip out the pivots. Can definitely help for sure. So pivot point strategy, pretty fire. Okay, so NIO potential play here. Again, watching this one in pre-market. Pre-market lows 40.80. Could play at 240. That's an 80 cent move. Maybe even grab a $37 put. So space and NIO. Where is my? There it is. There's that. Oops. Make sure you guys write down your playlists. Have it right in front of you. You're guessing. Just a reminder here. Okay. Alright, so we got NIO pretty much napped. Above 41.65, guys. More than likely it'll go for a retest of resistance, which happens in a downtrend. So you could see it bounce off this level and go and retest this top resistance again. So watch for that as well. Yeah. Missed part of space to the downside. There's a lot of bag holders on plug, still holding. AEHR. AEHR, is that moving here again in pre-market? Hey, look at that. Hey, that was kind of money though. I didn't move that support at all. Damn, that's pretty cool. HE here, Turtle Beach. Look at Turtle Beach Corporation blasting off here in pre-market 27.85 now at $30. That one's pushing up here relatively strong. Looks like it's breaking a longer downtrend that has been holding for a while. It's actually on top of a downtrend. I would say past 30.80, and we might see Turtle Beach turn into a runner. I have no idea what would be the catalyst here. Oh, here we go. Dawnrail Group issues letter to Turtle Beach regarding rejection of acquisition offer. Okay. NVIV, nothing there. AUMN, nope, not there either. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Idea on PSTH puts. I saw they were trending up in pre-market. What is the news? Anybody have that for me before I have to go hunt for it? Looks like a first entry for me would be around 2030, and then of course you see you get to bounce off $20. So anywhere below 20, obviously, is going to be that first main number. I'm not sure what they've done, what happened here, but they look bad, and could use a bit of a relief bounce. I did see they were trending, but it looks pretty bad right now. There's no levels here either. You've broken your pre-IPO. Here's still running. Yeah, here's still running. Just holding $30. Alright, so we also had Uber on the list of potential put plays here, guys. I am mostly focused to the downside, but that means that if we get a bounce, those bounce levels, and guys, please hear me out right now, because like those of you who are not new or are new to trading, or you're still getting your hands on scalping, don't know how to play bounce plays, we need to see direct, definitive direction before we actually take positions. We need to see an earnings bounce. We need to see momentum to the upside. We need to see something. Obviously we have the Delta variant that's impacting the possibilities of the market bouncing, as well as inflation fears and everything else. But again, with these gap downs, a lot of these gaps, pre-market gaps, have already been filled. They've already filled themselves in pre-market with a quick pop up, and so whenever I see that, and usually when I see a gap down, the gap's been filled in pre-market, I know it's going to dump. For the most part, there's always space bounce. Yeah, so again, space could go sushi. Remember that 30-15, 30-14 level. That's where I expect space to potentially see a rejection, and then at that rejection, I may grab a put, a $30 put, and watch it for. But again, it's been dumping for a while, so a relief bounce, a dead cat bounce even maybe is a likelihood. But again, this support level here, the 2750 mark, if 2750 gets broken, this gap is getting filled. Then that's at 2384. So this could be a well over 100% play for me. I really like space to the downside. So. Yeah, so you have fake out potentials. And look at everything, guys. Apple, hourly 200-day EMA. Microsoft, not quite there, but nearing that hourly. I mean, it's at 277, so you're not too far away. Microsoft Airsoft could be a downside play below 278.45. So you guys, if you're trading, you know how to trade. You should be having your watch list set up. Your contracts should be looking at them. What am I taking? Where is my target? Where am I looking to exit? Where could I potentially leave runners? You have to think about those things. And obviously, I'll let you know what I'm doing. But it is important. Fubo, I think somebody said something Fubo earlier. 24.69 right now, or rather 24.50, 55, seems to be that level for Fubo to bounce. I did have this speculative flag set up here in yesterday, but we have seemingly already gone and pretty much rejected that resistance there. So watch for Fubo to head to $24 today. 24.72, maybe get a bounce there, but if you break to 24.72, you would have likely broken this pattern, and you're more than likely going to be trending back down into the $22 level. And I think on Uber, guys, I think I was not only I was looking out into, let me see, I think I was tripping out last night about something. There it is. Look at the gap on Uber. That's what I want. I'm actually going to screenshot that. I want to fill that, so I might swing low for Uber. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to post this in live trading chat so you guys can kind of see what exactly I'm talking about. So this is Uber. And what I'd be looking to do is take possibly October or September contracts, and then obviously scalping to the downside. Uber looks rough, and I think Uber hits 45.75 and breaks that level. If you break that level, Uber has quite a bit of downside to go. I don't think earnings is going to do them any favors. They've just seen nothing but risk and are choppy markets. They still don't, as far as I know, produce cash flow after 12 years. So there's a gap to fill all the way to $35. I think we fill it. And so I'm swinging low. I'm actually thinking of taking a $35 or even a $40 put, going out long on Uber, and then just anything on the underside. As long as we stay below this resistance line, I'll hold on to it. But other than that, good morning. Okay. Idea UMG transaction failed. That sucks. Yeah, that could definitely be a catalyst for something to hold that downside move. So UBXY, of course, our so-called protection station. Nothing doing here in pre-market. Honestly, it's so crazy to see these at the $90 level. That's insanity. What am I looking at, the daily? Why is that so damn high? Hold on one second. Why is this this is bugged out? Okay, well here in pre-market, UBXY looks like it's about to absolutely rip into outer space. So if you're a perm bull, watch for this potential breakout here. It does appear to be liking to hold on to this 20-day moving average here. So don't be surprised if you see a little pullback here. UBXY is a little bit surprising. AEHR. Yo, that was sick. Damn, I should have played that in pre-market. Well, I had the chart right, at least. Yeah. OXBR. What is this? Oxbridge Holdings. Ah, we played this before. Yeah. That one's starting to move here a little bit in pre-market. Trying to. I'll set an alert on it. I'm not buying that. Atlas, no, I can't. I can't hear you. Why can't I hear you? Well, let me check my settings really quick. talk?
Yeah.
There you are. Okay. I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Look what Joe just said.
Never mind. I'm back to not hearing Atlas. Nah, I'm not sure.
Yo, AEHR had some really good news this morning. I got in around
Oh, there it goes.
4:35, but I'm in light.
Did I
I'm
do?
just a little scared. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm like a little geeked out at the chart that I drew in pre-market. It like totally held that chart really well. That was sick. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh,
I'm
nice,
just
dude.
floating.
Wow, that's a perfect breakout too out of your chart.
Yeah, right after this rejection here, I'll let you take over. Ellie's yelling at me right now, but yeah, it held that triangle really well. So
No, that's a great analysis right there. But
all right,
I'm
perfect.
watching a couple things this morning. I had fortunately didn't get to do a ton of DD. I had some stuff going on this morning, but I will say the overall markets are a little. I'm not going even quarter size on my trades today until I see some confirmation that the market's going to hold up, especially with pennies. Um, AEHR received a $10 million order for production tests and burn-in for silicon carbide power semiconductors for electric vehicles. So that's obviously super bullish for them. Their market cap is like, I think, like 60 million. So this is like literally, you know, most at least about 25%. No, not 25%. Yeah, about 25% of their market cap. So close to, but that's an interesting portion of news right there for AEHR. CRTD filed a Form 4. CYTK is another one I'm watching. They had positive news results for the Redwood HCM. And then let's see, what else do I have here? EQS, somebody filed a 13G, so somebody owns above 5% of the float. Let's see. MIND announces new orders added to backlogs. That's definitely a solid thing. Just depends on how much revenue those new orders are going to drive. NRXP receives pharmaceuticals, presents evidence, helps prevent cytokine storm in patients with COVID-19. So it helps with some type of issue that is driven by COVID-19 that people might have. And then OXBR reannounces filings for SPAC registration statement. So just watching those, and then nothing else besides SPY and some of the big betas. So definitely have NVIDIA on watch, SPY, Tesla. I'll be trading those with options, not equity. So I would say expect some IV crushes today, especially if we rally and the VIX drops off. Anything that you buy into that rally, and if it like gets stunted midway through the run, expect like potential IV crushes. So you just have to be really careful and really smart about what option contracts you play. Go with the options contracts that have the most OI and volume. So just be smart about that, and just keep your stop loss tight today. This is a day where if you, I'll say it this way, and I really hate to phrase it this way. If you are a good trader, you will, make some profit and you'll leave green. If you're not the most, you're not the best trader, you might have a red day. Just this is just my thought process based off of how the open is looking and how big of a gap down we had. The one thing that I could say, I have two kind of scenarios here. Either SPY pops and runs to fill the gap, and you'll see everything kind of run with it to fill its gap, and then holds and stays, or SPY is going to try to pop and then just drop. And
Yeah,
if it drops, a lot of shit's going to sell off, and it's going to sell off fast.
yeah, we have the catalyst to do so.
Yeah.
Real quick, somebody asked me to chart Microsoft. This is actually one that's on my playlist. As you can see here, it does have and appears to be holding a daily trend line at the moment. That trend line looks like it's going to get broken below 279, which is my lower time frame support. Right now, we've actually broken that level. Sorry, so 279 appears to have just barely been. That's where we're at now. So we're at that 279 mark now. What I kind of see, and I'm not quite sure if it's a big enough gap to get filled, but there is a very very small gap at 272 all the way to 271.50. So my first target would be 273.25 for a pullback, or not my first target, but 275.25, and then 273.50 would be my two levels to the downside. If we do trend down, I would likely take this trade based on pre-market setup and the supports that I see. I would probably take another entry around 276.50 on Microsoft to the downside, with the target. Obviously, I'm speaking scalping wise, of 275. Even a break of 275 would likely have you down all the way to 271.71. So keep your eyes peeled on that level. Of course, psychological whole numbers are going to play a part. And again, a lot of times when we break supports, we retest them. So don't get over eager, guys. We can sit on our hands. It's Monday. We don't have to rush into trades. We don't have to lose our money. We can sit and evaluate. The market is open all week, and so you guys can take a deep breath and just look at your setups, have your levels ready, have your contracts ready, and if it doesn't hit your levels, don't take the trade. Let the trade come to you. I'm done ranting. Oh gosh. Alright, let's see. SGOC. I saw SGOC pop here on my scanner in pre-market, but I wasn't sure if it was actually running. SGOC doesn't have a terrible setup. It actually broke my downtrend. What?
No, what Joe just said, I just read it. Sorry.
Nvidia. You know.
No, oh, sorry, go
Oh
ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, he said, most encouraging thing Atlas has ever said, I want him to coach my son's T-ball team this fall. If you're good at baseball, you'll do good. If you suck, you're just gonna suck.
There you go. Just lay it out for the kids.
Hey, man. You gotta be honest.
So actually, SGOC, you can see this little triangle here. It broke downtrend. Has this triangle here, but looks like, as you can see here, using these trend lines, it does appear that is using its previous resistance as support. It needs to break over 1556 in order to see continuation to the upside. So.
Hey guys, keep SPEV on watch. They're geez, I can't even talk this morning. They're forecasting to exceed revenues by 436%.
Wow.
That's quite the bump.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely be keeping that guy on watch.
Another one that was brought up to me last night that I actually liked the setup to an extent. The only thing I didn't like was the RSI right now. But Zillow looks like it wants to go and retest the $100 level. If it breaks that $100 level, it's got it's got like $85, and it has a terrible daily, like as far as bullish setup. It just looks really bad. You can see a head and shoulders formed here. We actually retested that shoulder level and rejected. So it could see a retest of 106, but I am watching this one for a potential leg down below 100, and that one could have it, like I said, back into the 85s, but I would likely go closer in the money. So, all right, we got 4 minutes. Why is DTSS trending? Data C. I'm gonna set an alert on them just in case.
IWM looks like poo poo.
Oh my god, why? Oh. Why did I swing Disney puts, dude?
Wow.
Sorry, I was trying to express myself and yawn at the same time.
You said, why did you swing Disney puts?
Why didn't I? I literally.
I was about to say you made money, bro. What are you mad about?
I know, but damn, dude. I mean, I called the dump on.
Oh no,
Disney.
I thought you meant like you did swing them, and you were asking me why you did. I was like, what?
Oh, why did I do this?
Why did I make money?
Okay. Those of you on YouTube, I appreciate you guys dropping by. UPST puts. Nice.
We love you guys.
Yeah, love you guys. Have a good day. Good luck. Risk management. Yeah, let the trades come to you guys. So remember, weekly puts are